Today I'm going to touch on an area that's really important for communication in relationships. It's something that's called the 4 relationship destructors. There's been a lot of research into the biggest predictors of divorce and separation. Dr. John Gottman has been one of the foremost researchers in this field, and the information I'm going to share with you is based on his research. Researchers have studied a myriad of factors including age, finances, geographical location, religion, and have found that there's the one thing that consistently and predictably comes out on top: the way in which people communicate and repair any disconnection that has occurred during conflict. My name is Shelley, and I'm a relationship specialist coach, helping people all over the world to heal their heartbreak and to reconnect to life and love. Digging a little deeper, it's been shown that there are some very particular styles of communication that consistently point to a relationship that is heading towards a rupture. Those that include a higher degree of defensiveness, criticism, blame, stonewalling, and contempt are it. If you're able to identify these 4 relationship destructors in your own communications, you'll see where perhaps you can replace them with healthier behaviours, and you'll have made an important first step towards more harmonious relationships, and perhaps learn to nip them in the bud before they cause destruction in your relationship. Number 1, defensiveness. Because it's a form of blame shifting where we respond to a perceived criticism with excuses or playing the innocent victim. A defensive reaction often comes from the fear that we are not enough or a feeling of injustice, and the end result is generally an escalation of conflict rather than a sense of connectedness and understanding between individuals. In the most extreme form, defensiveness can become what Dr. John Gottman calls stonewalling, where your defenses and barriers are so high that you shut down and refuse to interact. Dr. John Gottman is a leading psychologist in this field of relationships, and he's spent decades researching and writing about how to create stable relationships, and I can highly recommend his books, including The Science of Trust, Emotional Attunement for Couples, and The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. I have adapted this model, which he calls the 4 Horsemen, and often use it in my work. When working with couples, I help them to identify what we call the survival suit behavior, which is a defensive mechanism that keeps them safe but disconnected from their partner. So instead of being defensive, we can listen and try to understand the other person's perspective, or simply take accountability where we might have been at fault. An example of defensiveness: you're accusing me of being late, but you're always late yourself. And a healthier alternative is, I'm sorry I'm late. Number 2, criticism, which is including the blame, where you take a problem and you turn it into an attack on someone's character. Unlike a complaint, which focuses on the problem at hand and can be an important and constructive way of addressing problems by stopping the resentment from building up, a criticism goes to the core of someone's identity, and it's often hurtful in a deeply personal way. Instead of throwing out criticism, you can refocus on a solution you'd like to achieve. Avoid using the word you, instead speaking I language. An example: you always put yourself first. A healthy alternative: I would love to feel like a priority in your life, or a priority. Number 3, stonewalling. It's emotional shutdown, the withdrawal and refusal to connect. If you feel like you're stonewalling or experiencing your partner stonewalling during a conflict, stop the discussion and ask your partner to take a break. When we're triggered, we release cortisol into our bloodstream, and it takes a good 20 minutes for this cortisol to dissipate in the bloodstream. Saying, I'm feeling really triggered right now, so to continue talking about this isn't helpful. Please can we take a break and come back to it in a bit? It'll be easier to work through after I've calmed down. And then take 20 minutes to do something alone that soothes you. Read a book or a magazine, take a walk, go for a run. Really just do anything that helps you to stop feeling flooded and then return to the conversation once you feel ready. Number 4, contempt. Showing contempt means putting someone down and making them feel inferior. It's one of the most destructive ways of relating, and it's the single biggest predictor of divorce. There's nothing constructive in this ridiculing, sneering behavior, whether it's verbal, such as name-calling or sarcasm, or through our body language with the eye rolling or scoffing, shrug. It's often a culmination of long, simmering cauldron of negativity and deep-seated resentment. So instead of slipping into contempt, we can use awareness and compassion to help steer things back into a more positive direction. If contempt is a daily pattern in your relationship, I'd recommend that you seek professional help to build connection and stop the cycle. An example, there you go again, playing victim, and a healthy alternative. I think we're both in a non-resourceful state right now. Let's grab a cup of tea, take 20 minutes to balance, and then regroup to discuss what we both need and want instead of letting this escalate into negativity. As with all communication, everything starts with taking responsibility for ourselves, and self-awareness is the critical first step towards this and towards maintaining really healthy boundaries. When you're more aware of potential pitfalls, you have a much greater chance of not falling into them. So I hope that these pointers are really helpful for you. And if you feel that your relationship is breaking down and you're trying to work out whether or not it might be time to call an end to the relationship, I have a video on the subject which may be of value to you. You should see a link in the video appearing on the screen now, so you can click on it and go straight through. So I hope this has really been helpful for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subjects we've touched on. Please feel free to share your comments below. I'd like to see you in more of my videos, and if you'd like a little notification when I post a new one, please remember to subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button below.